Daryl said he's first. Hello, Daryl.
You text me and ask him where's the camera.
I hope it ain't left in the trailer when I just backed it up. Carlo said second. Hello, Carlo. Hello, Daryl.
Did you get my pen? Yeah.
Olivia said, "Where's Randy?" He just left. He going with his wife and baby girl to the in-laws. Carlo said, "What's up, y'all? Pops and Justin." Hello, Carlo.
Hello.
Carlo said, "What's up, Daryl?" Olivia said, "He's lucky." Daryl said, "Ghostly."
Alright, yeah, here's one. Alright.
Carlo said, "What's up, Olivia?"
I brought the camera in. No.
Oh, okay. If y'all didn't know, it's got cold again.
Again and again and again.
Olivia said, "Because I know it was him and Boggy conspiring together." I have no idea. I know nothing about what they were doing or wasn't doing or whatever. Robert said, "What's up? This is Robert." Hello, Robert. How's everybody doing today? I need to change that just a little bit. Is that good enough? A little bit more. Let's see. Robert said Robert's first game is 1:30. Second game is 1:20 in bowling. Tell Justin. I'll tell him. Weber Jr. says hi. Hello, Weber. Let's see. Whoa, what did I just do? Lordy. Lordy, how did I do that? Let's go back and see if I know what I've done, but let's see. Daryl says still have a headache, but it downsized from the migraines, so I'm good. Well, yeah, I know how that goes. I'm glad you're a little bit better. Migraine gone. Mike said hi. Robert said, "What up, Randy Jr.?" Daryl said Mike, and Carlos said, "What's up, Mike?" Well, I did like the camera a little bit. Let's see. Xvon said hi. Hello. How you doing? 17 people. 6 thumbs up. Let's see. Olivia says I got a letter from from our nice people, by the way, asking me to remove the flag from the roof of my car because it's spreading racial propaganda. Someone explain, please. I have no idea. It's people's crazy. Levi says, "Are you religious?" I am, but we do not talk religion or politics in here. Jane said, "Hey, Kane," and "Hey, Pops." Hello, Jane. Livy said, "Hey, Carlo and Mac." Robert said, "Did you order Robert work shirt? Never done projects yet?" Not yet. We're working on it. Daryl said, "Jane." Jane said, "Hi, Justin." Mike says, "Hi, Carlo." Brent said, "What's up, Randy?" Hello, Brent. Hope you're doing well. Jane said, "Hi, Brent." Carlo, "Yeah, I'm religious. Every morning I do shit." Levi said, "Okay." PNW Firearms says, "On any guns?" I got a couple of hole punchers. Let's see. I think this one will not translate, but I will try it. Yeah, it does. That's Tashin. Said hello, hello. Jane said, "Hi, Robert." Steve says, "Have you ever been mistaken for an egg?" No. Said I look like one though. Daryl said, "Hold on, time to move and fix that." Jane said hi, Daryl. Barron says hi, hello from Ohio. Hello from Ohio. We got several in here from Ohio. Welcome. Jane said hi, Carlo. Robert said ask Justin what time he picked me up for work. I think he goes in early. He'll be there about 6. Jane said hi, Olivia. Weber says I made some sesame steak ohama. Jones Longhorn and made some tequila lime chicken on my Weber gym. Oh, cool. You had that thing working, didn't you? Olivia said, are you in the wind of this Mac? Jane said, hi, Baron. Carlos said, hello, Jane. White girl says, race and IQ question. I really don't like this, but I'm going to read it. We normally get into some deep subjects, but which parent's genes are more sensitive to IQ of offspring? Which race typically scores lowest on IQ tests? Which parent fault? I don't think it's necessarily a fault of being pointing fingers. Men and women get together and have kids. They kind of learn at different paces in different ways. Everybody can be intelligent if they're taught the right way. Daryl says, what do you mean, Ghostly? Steve says, would you ever consider wearing a Scottish kilt? I've always wondered. I don't know. I probably would. I think it'd be cool. CCB Boy says, hi. Robert said, where is Randy Jr.? He went to his in-laws. Daryl says, White, you come in and say the same garbage every day. Stop. Olivia says, Boggy has been talking. Boggy has been taking the Lee out and bringing home takeout for dinner. And when I ask why, he says Randy gave me the idea. Now, well, I have no idea. White says, like which parent? I'm not reading. Like I said, that's I don't get into that deep stuff. Nate says, are you transgender? No, I'm exactly the way I was born. Rusty said, hi, Randy. Jane said, hi, Rusty. My friend said Mexican drug cartel leader was killed. Be careful, they are upset. Rusty said, hi, Jane. Kevin says, I have a horrible day, brother. That's not good. I hate it for you, Kevin. Daryl said, Rusty. Jane said, Nate, are you transgender? Robert said, what do I do tomorrow morning at work? Probably stand by the fire because it's going to be cold. It's little Tullet's got eyes looking at you. Weber said, do you have a Ford or Dodge? Neither one. We are Chevrolet and GMC. Jane said, Kevin, are you feeling better? Rusty said, hey, Daryl. Olivia said, Webb. Late Night said, this guy is an AI, everybody. Weber said, no. Kevin said, I broke up with my girlfriend and my hot co-worker got fired. Robert said, what jacket I wear in the morning, whichever one keeps you warm. It's going to be cold in the morning. Tristan said, Jane, are you barefoot? John Deere says, hi, everyone. Al Brent said, what's your opinion on Peter Thrift? I don't know who that is. Carlos said, Papa Renzo says, hello, Pops and the family. Well, hello, Papa Renzo. Jane said, Tristan, yes, I am. Are you? Keezy said, hi, hello. Jane said, hi, Renzo. 17 people, 11 thumbs up. Tristan said, no, Jane, I'm wearing socks. We know what that means. White Girl Magic said, can you please say white lives matter? No, I think all lives matter. Olivia said, absolutely not. Will you catch me barefooted? Jane said, Tristan, then you're safe. No. I know I fed him, but will you go see if he's got food if you don't give him some of that? I don't know if the bucket's in here or it's on the back of the car. He may have eaten because I know I fed him this morning. But Daryl said, Jacob. Robert said, let Justin pick what jacket I wear to work. All right, I'll tell him. Jane said, Olivia, you're in Tennessee. Nobody down there wears shoes. Did you find him?
He's got food.
Okay, I thought he did. But he's acting like he's hungry. Boggy said, it ain't gay if you got socks on.
That's fine. That's your spot. Move over. I like pushing the gear.
Boggy says, you're right, but Olivia is weird. Jane said, Pops, it's still light outside. It is. And it's got cold, but I am so glad it's getting daylight longer. What is it? I think March. Okay, Google. When is daylight savings time for 2026?
In 2026, daylight saving time in the United States begins on Sunday, March 8th and ends on
March 8th, so we ain't too far away from that spring forward. Robert said, just ask Justin what jacket I'll wear to work tomorrow morning. Tristan said, Jane, is going to be very cold for me tomorrow. Jane said, I've been under a blanket all day. Well, when I got up this morning, I debated on whether to wear the long sleeves. I asked Google about the weather. It said high at 47, low at 20. So I put the long sleeve on, and I was fine until I went out to work on the trailer, and it started sleeting. Daryl says, ordered a new radiator today. Oh, I thought the joke that you took the Biscayne radiator. When you said something about the radiator today, I thought you took the one off the Biscayne. I was going to ask, but I wasn't in a position where I could type. I had you on the phone and on the TV. Olivia said, I'm not weird. I don't like feet, hence why I wear socks a lot. Carol said, sold some stuff to get the money. Buggy said, Daryl. Robert said, can I see Robert's yellow work jacket in the office? It's not in here right now, Robert. Weber said, buy a Ford Escape or buy a Ford Escape or Crown Vic or the Ford Thunderbird and the Ford Focus and Ford Fusion and Ford Festida and Ford the old Bronco and Ford EXP. Boy, ain't heard EXP in a long time. Daryl said Vic did. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you got it. I thought that was a joke. I missed it. Sorry. Daryl said, Boggy. Jane said, it's been snowing off and on all day. No accumulation, though. Boy, I tell you, when it started sleeting, I didn't like that at all. Let's see. Cool's Wiz said, how's North Carolina, brother? I can't complain. I wished it was a warmer weather year-round, but hey, no use in complaining. Robert said, where is Randy's red jacket? Right there. Daryl said, thank God, just a dusting. Tristan said, we haven't had snow in 3 years. Where you from, Tristan? James said, Genesis sounds like a Ford fan. Yeah, I know. Buggy, and he's talking about the old school Fords. Buggy says, that's too many road ornaments. Daryl said, nah, I destroyed my new radiator. Had to order another. Oh, no. Dumb Bum said, guys, Jane sounds like a chat GPT. Buggy says, I'd be barefoot in right now. If not, it's freezing. That's right. Robert said, message Randy Jr. from Robert. Boggy says, now, why would you destroy it? Tristan said, I'm having lamb chops tonight. Cool. Daryl says, I'm barefooted. Buggy says, I'm outside working. We just stopped on the trailer. I did find something on my trailer that I'm going to have to send a picture of to Pug and find out what's going on. I hope I found it in time. I don't know what I got to do to fix it. I got to get some advice. Jane said, Jane is Chat GPT. Mike said, hi, Jane, Daryl, and Boggy. Daryl said, Mike. Weber said, do you like the old Ford? I like a bunch of cars. I mean, I'm not a Ford person, but I like any of the old vehicles. Mike said, Tristan. Jane said, Tristan, you must be south. Boggy said, yo, Mike. Robert said, when we go to the car show, Randy? I don't know when we go to the next car show. Boggy said, Jane, you invented dirt, not AI. 15 people, 13 thumbs up. Weber says, get a Ford and get a Ford, get a Ford. Maria said, Ford is my favorite. Oh, no, you didn't. Please tell me it ain't so. I figured you'd like Lexus or Infiniti or something. Robert said, can I come to the car show? Sure. Vendor Scott said, that guy back there looks like the planet for the Planet Fitness. Maria said, why? I just thought that you would like we'd said something about Toyotas before, and the Toyotas and Nissan is Lexus and Infiniti. I just thought, I don't know why, just what crossed my mind when we talk about cars. I thought you'd like a Toyota. But you said, Weber, I can get down with Ford as long as it isn't a Ford truck. And I like the old school Ford trucks. QST, let's see, I don't know what is that supposed to be. It says, can you burp? I can. I don't see no reason in it. Buggy said, Lexus is just Toyota Luxury District. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And that's the same way with Infiniti and Nissan. Jane said, hi, Maria. Rusty said, national survey. Find out Ford owners scored 18% higher on IQ than all other car/truck brands. Maria said, I absolutely not like them. Toyota is my last favorite. Oh, wow. Mike says, Weber, I have a yard full of Fords and none of them run. Maria says, hi, Jane. Trish said, yeah, I'm from the South. Vendor Scott says, yo, tell that guy in the back there to jump. I'll secretly make a shock wave larger than the Noesca bomb. It'll make the Gulf of Mexico rise and it'll make Australia go underwater. Mike said, hi, Rusty. Ockler says, I hear you say something about cars. Yeah, we talk about cars from time to time. Rusty said, hi, Long Wrench. And Robert said, who I with at the car show? I don't know. We'll have to see. When it gets closer, we'll find out. 16 people, 15 thumbs up. Rumple said, hello, Pops. And is that Justin? Hello. Yes, that's Justin. He's involved in his phone.
I gave him a wave.
Oh, did he? He gave him a wave. It's a delay. Sorry. Buggy says better than a Chevy, too. Rumple said Long Wrench Garage. And Rumple says, Jane, hello. Robert said, what can I wear to the car show? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Plaid shorts, long socks, a Ronald McDonald hat. We'll see what we come up with. Jane said, hi, Rumple. Mike said, hi, Rumple. Buggy said, yo, Justin. Jackson said, sup, man? Hello, Jackson. Mike said, I'm thinking a beanie with a propeller. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Buggy said, Maria, don't hate Toyota. Robert said, work shirt, never done projects to the car show. Sounds like a good idea. Rumpel says a parking cone costume would be funny. Yeah, a costume would be funny. Yeah. Boggy says you want a car brand to hate Lamborghini and Bugatti. Jackson says, can I bring my raised Ram 2500? Sure. Does it have a diesel? Boggy says, they suck. Robert says, I go to the car show with Randy Jr. and Robert, Randy Jr. and Randy. Robert, right? That's right. Boggy said, I hate Mercedes too. Rumpel says, do they sell Suzuki cars in U.S. Pops? Yeah. Well, we had Suzuki Sidekick. I guess they still do. I know we used to have the Sidekick and a couple different Suzuki styles. I guess they still do. But I wonder why my comments don't appear. I don't know. Madison was having that problem the other night. Mike said, good one, Rumpel. Maria says, hello. Hello, Maria. Jackson says, no, they don't. Rams are the best. Daryl says, hello. Jackson says, you probably like Fords. Robert said, message Randy Jr. I'm going to the car show. Rumpel says, hello, or he says Metal Arts is waving. Vander Scott says, the guy in the back where he weighs a gram, and a gram is so large it bigger than the versatile atomic in the universe, so large that we can't even show it with zero. It's so big, a gram times a gram is an altogram. I think he's got the hots for you, Justin.
I mean, he's using big words.
Yeah, he's using them hard for me to read them. Reverend says, I love my 2013 Toyota Corolla. What a beautiful car. John Deere said, Randy got a Pepsi. Better watch out and get that joke. I'll get that. Joking. Sorry. That's right. Mike says, Bob, you have to take a special class to drive a Mercedes. Annette says, my neighbor paid me $25 to get her to a crack house, and I didn't know what that was. Oh, Lord. Bob, you said, Rumpel, most are imported, but we still have a few made and sold here in America's soil. John Deere said, what's up, Daryl? SP1 says, come on, Unc, reading isn't that hard. Not for some people. Daryl says, might have a cord sold. I'll know by Tuesday. Awesome. I can't afford it. Robert said, ask Justin. He like to go to the car show. Rumpel says, got to pay for the trip. I know what you mean. I hate we can't be a part of it, but we just don't have 3 weeks of vacation. Robert said, Boggy, oh, cool. Just ask, because they are market learning in only 2 countries and 1 is here. Maria said, I don't think it's fair to hate cars like Lamborghini or Bugatti, because if you worked for the rest of your life, I don't think you would be able to have one of those. So hating something you can't afford, lol. That's the way, I mean, I don't know enough about them. I would love to drive a Bugatti and a Lamborghini. I don't know how much junk they are. I've never messed with one, but that'd be cool. Rumble said, that's a good question to ponder. Now, which car brands would hate? Weber says, my family hit the car. Uh-oh. Well, Rumple, be honest with you, nowadays, just to be quite frank, you're going to get a limit in all of them. And that's like we was talking about Milwaukee and DeWalt. we like Milwaukee. Daryl likes DeWalt, and we like him for the same reason. DeWalt's failed for us. Milwaukee failed for him. It's just the luck of the draw. Van Scott said, the guy in the back. Daryl says, I don't either, Randy. Weber says, at a big fat deer. Ooh. Robert said, what kind of car you have for the car show? I don't know. We don't know which one we're taking yet. Maria said, because when you say you hate every expensive thing, all I think that you hate it because you can't afford it. We all know that if you had the chance to ride them, you would think twice and would absolutely love them. Buggy says, it's not that I haven't afford one. They break easy. Carlos says, I'm back. Y'all, God gave me some relief in the form of poop. Oh, praise the Lord. Robert said, what is your opinion on a ladder car? I don't know what the ladder car is. Buggy says, and Bugatti was made for bone function. Daryl said, I've been leaning on Cobalt lately. Battery lasts forever and hold their weight. I've not messed with a Cobalt. I don't remember what brand it was, but when I was at Thomas, I used a white and black one. But it held up good, but I don't remember the brand. Rumble says, yeah, Pops, I would rather have cars to go back to mechanic and dialogue. What are they going to do if a EMP bomb or a huge solar flare fly up? All chips, that's right. I like the old school. We can still work on them. Robert said, we wear our work shirt, never done projects work jacket to the car show. Yeah. Buggy says, I've won a lamb off a guy, sold it back to him before it broke down. Tore it after it broke down. Sold it back to him, though, after it broke down. Mike said, the downfall of the American car market started when their government got involved in emissions. Amen. I believe it. Rumpel said, Latin is Russia. They are boxy but sturdy. They have some new models too. I'd like to see some. Reaper says, meow. Hello, Reaper. Buggy said, I have a mix of tools. Carlos said, what's up, Rumpel? It's just Diary. It says, DeRay says, I hope you have a great, awesome day because you're beautiful. Happy Sunday. Well, thank you. And you too. Weber said, Reaper, you are a furry. Are you a furry? No.
Maybe.
Rumble said, big boys, hello. He's friends with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, skin crawlers. John Deere says, bark, bark, Reaper, joking. Buggy says, damn, I can't type today. Mike says, I think Hart brand is white and black. It might be. I don't remember, but I had a good time with it. Or good use out of it. Jack says, is it true that you guys in that room are gay? Just as gay as you are. I shouldn't say that because I believe you're gay. But anyway, Reaper said, I forgot how that started. Buggy said, oh, last Tuesday I got my finger cast off my finger. Daryl said, that's it, Mike. I've been trying to remember. Weber said, jack-o'-lantern. Why do I want to say jack-o'-lantern that many times? Tam said, who farts the most? That's a run-up between Justin and Randy. Maria said, Randy, I'm not kidding, but I think you look like this emoji. Yeah. Maria says, oh my God, twins. Carlos says, no, everyone in the chat is gay. Mike says, Walmart. Bogey says, I'm happy about that one. Robert said, who picked me up for the car show? I don't know. Let's get closer. We'll find out. Daryl says, I'll be back in a bit. All right. Rumble says, I know a whole family that's gay. Tyson Gay. Buggy said, I can play with bunnies again. Floyd for the Lord said, hey, big man. Hello, Floyd. How you doing? Maria said, because if you don't like women, then what do you like?
Huh?
Because if you don't... I'm not gay if that's what you're asking. Jack says, is it true that you guys in the room have... I want to know who's telling you these lies. Remember, my name's Randy. Let's see. Boggy says, me gay? Asked Justin. Robert said, can I see the car in the shop? No, I'm not going to walk out there. I get behind. Maria said, you missed a message. Evidently, I did. You said, oh my God, twins. And then you said it because if you don't like women, then what do you like? Evidently, one didn't come through or something. Floyd said, hanging out, burning junk furniture. All right. Maria's laughing. Reaper says, so me and Annabelle have come to the decision that we are going to adopt a 4-year-old little Annabelle. Awesome. Weber says, what if the cow went to the pond because it pooped IR? I'm kind of at loss of why we would be worried about what a cow did. But anyway, Carlos says, I like chickens and chicks with. Okay.
What the world is happening?
I have no idea. Robert said, pick me up for the car show, Randy. All right. Never thought I'd be glad to see that, but good Lord, Carlo. Maria said, yes. I don't know why most messages don't appear. Well, I've got it on live chat, so I have no idea. Boggy said, causing egg isn't terrible, but it's not.
Egg.
Huh?
Connor's egg.
What is that?
It's a sports car.
Oh.
They're like 4.2 mil.
Oh, it isn't good for their parts to be expensive to import with it when it breaks. Jane said, really, Carlo? Robert says, do you know Ford make gay truck? I don't want to put that on the Ford people, but hey, I have no idea. Robert said, where I said you pick me up for the car show. I don't know, we're thinking about buying one of them Suzuki Brats. We might let you sit in the back, sit backwards. Maria said, if your name wasn't Randy, then what would it be? Hell, I don't know. Reaper said, but first we had to do a background check and a couple of other things. 19 people, 18 thumbs up. We way behind. Mike says, I want a Subaru Brat, one of one since I was a teenager. I've never drove one, but I think they're so cool with those roll bar and the seats backwards. Jane said, are you going to get married first, Reaper? Boggy said, now, those French V6 supercars, those are fine, and parts are a dime a dozen. Maria says, what do you mean you don't know, think? I don't know. I guess fish memory. I don't remember what we were talking about. Gavin says, have y'all seen all the Scream movies? I think so. Carlos is only joking, Jane. Hot and black women with a Jenna. Robert said, who's sitting in the passenger seat in the car? Randy? Depends on who's there. Nick says, when do you guys start dating? Tara Maker says, yo, is that your son in the back? It sure is. It's my youngest boy. Rumple said Subaru Bratz is the model name. Reaper said, hopefully mine comes back clear. Keyword hopefully. Jane said, hit the like button. Brenda said, seriously? Fish memory? Nick said, tell me about your first gay experience. Whenever, if I ever have one, I'll tell you about it, but I don't see me having one. Weber says, have heard of VS? No. Victoria's Secret? Yeah. Boggy says, I want my old Buick Roadmaster station wagon. Be cool. Robert said, look up the car show, Randy. Terry Macon says, that son is disappointed from you.
What?
Disappointed from you. Okay. Nick said, why do you kiss hot dogs before you eat them? I didn't know you did. James said, Nick, you coming out of the closet again? Jesus says, until. Said, what's up, Q-Ball? Hello, how you doing? I don't know, Snabal 187. Boggy said that's a reliable car, even if she overheated every 3 miles, but she cooled herself down by mile 5. Jane said, hi, Jordan. Robert said, tell Justin I'm going to the car show with Randy Jr. and Randy. Jesus said, hey, Jane. Terry says, Cold Stone from retirement home. That's right. I'd be glad to be retired. I'd like to get that part. Jesus said, did Randy say, yeah? Randy said, especially you. Jesus said, it said, like, hey, yeah. Lol. Buggy says, Jesus. I don't know if this is translating. I'm reading what I'm supposed to, or if y'all are just abbreviating and it's changing words. Robert said, call Randy Jr. I'm going to the car show. Jesus said, what's up, Boggy? See, Steve-O said, do you currently have a swamp ass? And hell no, not when it's down 30 degrees outside. Logan said, when did you learn English? 32 seconds ago. $15 people, 21 thumbs up. Beth said, where and when is the car show? I have no idea, Beth. I don't know what car show he's talking about. Robert said, what we do at the car show? Walk around, look at cars.
So we'll just put pink fingernail polish on her teeth.
Steve-O says, Logan never questioned his English. He invented the first book. Let's see. Robert said, who I stay with at the car show? I don't know. We'll all hang together. See. Ooh, my stomach's growling. See, Boggy says, oh, Randy, want a VR6? It doesn't blow out its engine. Brent says, my back really hurting me because of solving the exam question. I was more than 70 questions and only 1 hour. Ooh. So your back's hurting you because you were solving the exam questions? So when you were doing the math, when you carrying the one over, did that hurt your back?
Remember?
Robert said to keep our work shirt on, never done projects at the car show. Boggy says, done not, don't. Logan said, sounds like a foreigner. Oh, let's see. Chris said, I broke my leg while pooping. Damn, that's shitty. Mike says, we are planning to come to the C10 revival, this C10 show this year. Yeah, you said something about it. I hope we all hook up and go at the same time. Robert said, don't forget to pick me up for the car show. All right. Carlos said, all AI messages you're back for you, Maria. All AI message you're back for you, Maria. Maria said, yep, but I was bubble sheet, so bubble sheet. It was bubble sheet, so it was more easier than written exams. Cool. Boggy says, I need to find a non-stock crank shaft, then piston turn and shaft to dust. Robert said, how long we stay at the car show? Until the last car leaves.
The fat lady sings.
Yeah. Rumpel said, do stream the car show. I want to look at some cars too. All right. I'll let Robert do it. Robert said, who last car leave at the car show? Us. All in says, hello, Uncle. Hello. All in one space. I like it. Robert said, did you pick a car for the car show? Not yet. We're thinking about it. We're going to see which one we want. Robert said, what kind is going to be? Classic, sports, modified, hot rods, mix of all, mix of all. If it's got wheels, it's invited. Tyler said, nice of you to get dressed up for this. Oh, well, thank you. Nice of you to come in and comment. I appreciate it. Mike says, come on out to that Rumpel. We'll pick you up. Robert says, I like the car show you see at Christmas card. I like the car you sent a picture Christmas card of the car show. Oh yeah, that's our car. That's my car. Bamboo said you look like a Wallace and Gromit character. All right. Robert said, I'm going tomorrow for the library. I need to buy some new books to read. All right, cool. Rumble says, long range, sure thing. I'm only 8,000 miles away. Oh man, that ain't no problem. Maria said, that's Maria. You blind?
Remember?
What did I call you? Robert said, let's take your car to the car show. All right. Let's see. Mike said, Rumple, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Jen B said, what's up, guys? Love from Germany. Well, hello. How you doing? Jane said, you getting your trailer all done? Well, we tore it down, the nose of it, got all the way down, got all the insulation up, and got the very nose piece put back up. We got to start cutting the wood for the side and then building, once we build the sides, and then we'll start putting the water tank and the beds in there. We'll start building all that. Hopefully that'll go coming up this weekend. Like I said, I just found a problem with the trailer. I got to talk to Pug to see exactly what I got to do. I hope it don't cost a lot of money. Rumple said, Long Ranch sure is. Robert said, who go to the car show? I don't know. We'll have to see.
I'm hungry as pigs.
Maria said, the problem is I'm more bland than you and refuse to wear glasses. Oh, I'm more blind than you and refuse to wear glasses. Well, I don't like to wear them. I can promise you that. Rumble says, oh, what are those cars called with pneumatic pumps? The ones that sway and jump. What do you call hoppers? Is that what you call them? Mike says, hi, Jane B. Jan B. Jane said, hi, Mike. Fred says, I don't like wearing them too. If I wear them, I look like the. Well, that's what I look like. Somebody told me that emoji looks like me. Robert said, we take Randy Jr. and Randy Robert Justin to the car show. Sure. Maria said, but with alien hair. Jane said, Lord, only your hair is dark. Mike said, night, everyone. See you, Mike. Thanks for stopping in. Maria said, Jane, my hair is green like aliens.
Yeah.
Robert said, just ask Justin, can you go with us to the car show? Yeah, if he don't have to work, he'll go. Jane said, take care, Mike. Rumple said, Long Ranch, good night. Thumbs up and waving. Ray said, that's suspicious. 13 people, 24 thumbs up. Let's see, Robert said, what we have for lunch at the car show? Probably a hot dog and a fry. Carlos said, Pop goes the weasel. Rumble says, you don't watch TV much. I have it for the best part of 30 years. Now, I don't do much watching TV. Boggy said, let me give back that rat's phone. She's growing grumpy. I've got a good bit of work to do. All right, Boggy, thanks for stopping in. See you. Maria said, I wish if I could whistle. John said, I am late. Yeah, but that's better than being pregnant. Robert said, how many guys be there at the car show? About, I don't know, 11 or 12. Jane said, my daughter-in-law got home from hospital today, had cancer surgery on Wednesday. Hopefully it's all gone. Yeah, we hope so too. Lotus said, hello, 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 Lotus. Maria said, that's good, Jane. Jane said, hi, John. Carlos said, Lotus, what's up? Maria's. Jane said, hi, Lotus. Maria trying to learn to whistle.
No.
Robert said, we talked to some guy at the car show. We always talk to somebody. Boggy said, what the hell, Lotus? I was just jumping off. Jane said, you gotta pucker your lips like this. Lotus said, hello, Carlo, Jane, Maria. Maria said, like what? Amanda said, hi, hello, Amanda. Maria says, like a fish? Lotus said, what's up, Boggy? Ray. Let me just say Ray. Mert, M-R-T-H. Lotus says, I don't know, just got here. Jay said, Boggy, he's coming in because you're leaving. Ray said, meth. He said, meth. He's so fucked up he can't even put meth. Boggy said, yo, and bye, buddy. Lotus said, no. Jane said, hi, Amanda. Joseph said, what's up from Michigan? Well, hello, Joseph. Lotus said, not at all. Ray said, it's meth. Shake says, yo, first time caller, what's happening? Not much. How about for you? Welcome. Boggy says, I noticed. Robert's, go. Alexa said, lol. Jane said, welcome in, Michigan. Carlos said, Lotus. It's giving me shit right at the end of the Hubbard's lesson. Lotus said, Boggy, my homie. Ray's laughing. Rumble said, did you see the car by Dave King that won the car show? Show or something modified vet. It's beautiful. I didn't see it. Rumble said, Lotus, hello. Olivia says, well, it's my phone. I want it back. Lotus said, yeah, he does that, Carlo. Robert says, where are we from? Daniel says, hello, I'm from Alaska. Where are you from? We are in Denton, North Carolina, United States. Uh, 19 people, 25 thumbs up. Libby said, hi, Lotus. James says, hi, Daryl. Ohio here. Video Gamer says, no, you ain't. No, you ain't what? Libby said, yes, he is. Ice Kid says, put your toes on the screen. No. Robert said, when Randy Jr. come back? Tomorrow. Carlos said, what's up, Olivia? How goes the day? Maria says, Olivia. Jane said, hit the like button. Olivia says, I'm sick again. That's not good.
I'll go on up here.
Huh? Olivia said, again. Maria says, oh no, that's not good. No. Maria says, Olivia, you're like me, always sick. Robert said, I'm ready for the car show. Lotus said, I've been a bit sick too. It's going around. $19 people, 27 thumbs up. Maria said, what did you eat today? the sausage and eggs, and I didn't even get to eat my French toast, but pancakes. And then I'm eating a fudge round right now. That's all I'll eat. Jane said, Robert, how many games did you bowl today? Lotus says, it'll be the newest car at the car show. Olivia says, I have a garbage immune system, but Aiden gave me this stomach bug.
Who's?
Bug? The kid. Aiden. Aiden. Johnny said, what's up, boys? Hello, Johnny. Olivia says, love him, though. Lotus said, unless Daryl makes me park across the street. Carlos says, you need to drink Pepsi, Maria. Jane said, here's Johnny. Robert said, don't forget to bring Robert's jacket to the car show. Maria said, no, I don't want to drink Pepsi. Robert said, 2 game. Maria said, once or twice a month is good. Jane said, what car show you going to, Lotus? Olivia said, my nephew, Justin. My nephew, Justin.
You can lay your head on Monday. Maybe not my life.
Olivia said, Boggy's kids. Maria said, what? Robert said, can I have a can of Pepsi? You sure can. Carlos said, sore stomach, drank flat lemonade. Lotus said, the one by your house, Jane. Maria says, since when Boggy has a kid? John Deere said, what did the duck say to the other duck? Quick quacking, gas over there getting it, Jokey. Olivia said, Boggy has 2 kids. Jane said, Daryl's having another car show. Maria said, oh my God, Olivia. Olivia says, for a while now. Robert says, we're keeping your can of Pepsi. We're keep your can of Pepsi, Randy. I'm just going to let you have it. Olivia said he adopted both, LOL. Red said, I thought Boggy is young because he acted like kids most time. Red said, how old is he?
Who?
Boggy.
I don't know, 67.
Lotus said, Boggy is young. He adopted 2 kids. Olivia said, mine. Jane said, he adopted them? Question mark. And it stopped. Let's see. We got Olivia said, Jane, all 3 of them had those convo, LOL. Jane said, Boggy is 27, question mark. John Deere said, hey, Randy, can you vote on the thing in my community, please, and let me know which one you like in the comments? Yeah, I'll see if I can go to it. If I don't forget it, Randy usually does that stuff, but I'll see if I can figure it out. Chris says, well, adoption don't sound like a bad idea when you adopt one day. I don't think I'll go through surgery or and pregnancy. Those things scare me off. Robert said, that's awesome, Boggy. Olivia said, yeah, he's 27, turning 28 this year. Lotus says, do I burn out stone cold? Yeah, I need to. Man, I got to put my car up too. Jay said, Olivia, last I heard, they were foster. No.
What's happening? It's about time to shine.
Something's on the south side of the. You can read, go ahead. I'll say it.
Where were you at? Do a burnout Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Jane says.
Oh.
Jane said, Olivia, last I heard you were a foster. I don't know. Robert says, let pick a date for a car show this weekend. This weekend. I'll be in Charlotte this weekend. Olivia says, foster adoption, same thing, same difference to me. Still, they're still his kiddos. Maria says, imagine being pregnant for 9 months. That's a long time. What's the other time limit? Hazel says, did you find the spray bottle? I don't know where it is now, but I guess. Jane says, Maria, I did it 4 times, worth it. Hi, Hazel. Jane also said.
Sit down, you goofy ass dog.
Olivia says, and I wouldn't hate those 9 months a bit. You say that. Florid says hello. Hello. Hazel said hi, Jane. Jane said hi, Florid. Randy says it's the power line.
Yes, he just told me that's what it was on.
Colossal Coin said hi. Lotus said do a burnout. Timu Stone Cold. No. We don't have tires. Jane says hi, R3. Olivia says Randy with all caps. Olivia says you're in trouble. Okay. Randy says, hey, Jane and Olivia. Olivia, I don't know. Clayton says, my stepdad caught me bunny hopping on a bicycle with no seat and said one day I will grow up to be a famous rapper. I suppose, dude. Kylie says, hey, Dad, name a car for an edit.
Cool bit.
Jane said, Maria says, or 3 days. Jane says, hi, Kylie. Robert says, Randy, let's pick a date for the car this weekend. John Deere says, Justin is crazy. Your dad and your brother, you all 3 look alike, the 3 amigos. I suppose. Carlos says, at Pops, Papa. God. Renzo is asking if any Italians migrated to North Carolina in the old days.
I have no idea.
Lotus says, Biddy would love that guy. Kylie says, are you gay?
You are though.
No. Maria says, good night. I'm going to sleep early today. See you next time.
See you, Maria.
See ya. Olivia says, Randy, why do I get a letter today from the HOA saying that the flag on the roof of my car is spreading racial propaganda? What ideas did you feed Boggy? That's not Daddy's. That's not Randy's fault. That's your HOA's fault. Jane says, Carlo, we had many Italians that migrated. 2 names, Gilrad, and I don't know. Jane says, bye, Maria. Who was texting me? Who? I'm caught up right now. 3014442.
Good.
I don't know. They're asking if when I start. Why are they texting me 7:06 at p.m.? Olivia says no, it's Randy's and Boggy's fault because Boggy had been talking to Mr. Carr, MT Carr, and saying Randy gave me a good idea. Incorrect. Jane says, why does HOA care about a flag on your car, Olivia? Exactly. See, she has the smart questions. I don't know who it is. I'll just text back. I don't know. Carlos says Papa Renzo said okay. Thanks, Jane. Whew, I feel like crap. Carmen's supposed to be coming down here. She left. She'll be here right like 10, 20 minutes before the live ends. Robert says, don't forget to bring Robert, Hirschberger, his work jacket to the car show. Jane says, do those names sound familiar? Not even close. No. Lotus says, Confederate flag.
What'd you do?
I'm looking at something. I'm just looking at it. That's amazing. I'm caught up. Olivia says they handled a lot of reports over disturbances and whatnot with a emoji pointing up to read it. I don't think. Oh, she says what Lotus said. It's not their property. Don't matter. The car's not part of the HOA. Don't matter. Lotus says put it in the barn. Robert says Justin, look at our work schedule for this weekend before the car show. Jane says Gillard's broke into two families and are popular for producing pizza United States. Oh, I just eat the pizza. I don't pay attention on who makes it. Where's that? Oh no, I'm good. Red. Oh, yeah. I do not want to get up in the morning. Olivia says, no, that's my baby. You. Jane says, Fresh Way is nationwide and Fresh produced. Mama Rose's is Pizza Planet nationwide. Lotus says car cover. Or you could just tell them to screw off. I don't know. Mark at them. I'll never live in a place with an HOA.
I definitely don't like the one that's elected. Bunch of damn Karens.
Exactly. John Deere says Justin sounds like a wolf. I'm the real alpha. Libby says she has a tarp cover. Carlos says yes, Papa Renzo is familiar with Gilrad at Jane. Riley T 230 said hi. Hello, Riley. T30. T2. Lotus says, we'll tell Karen to F off your property. Exactly. Back up, woman. I have my rights like you do. John Deere says, where's your crazy brother? He's off to grandma's, right? Off to grandma's. Grandmammy. Uh-oh. He was here all day. I was here a little later than him. I was planning on getting here early, but I had unforeseen circumstances. Ooh. Hot dog. Robert says, Randy, what time I get ready for the car show? sometime or another. Riley says, you look tired. Yes. Lotus says, I wouldn't go too far. A-holes will hurt the car. True. Peter said hi. Jane says, Olivia, if you have an HOA, then why are they letting people steal packages off your porch? HOA don't care. As long as it affects you, they don't care. Huh? Olivia says, I just want to know what Randy told Boggy that Boggy decided to parade out and piss people off. Randy didn't tell nobody to. Randy didn't tell him to go out and do stuff. Lotus says, this is a crazy world nowadays. Half says, what's your dream car to someday own? I like to have a C6 Z06 soon. Jay says, R3 told Boggy it's a racist thing. Boggy decided to do it. Well, I don't know. Riley says, what breed is your dog behind you? It's a Great Dane. Hey, come here. Come here. Not over there, stupid. Come here. Come here. Gotta show your face. Alright, it's a pen, but you can't eat it. Alright, you can go lay back down. I'm sorry. Olivia says, HOA don't give a dang if I didn't know they exist till recently. James says, 65 Mustang convertible. Ew. Why convertible? Soft tops are gay. Half says, ask the bald guy in the background what's his favorite 80s band was. I will when he gets back. I got you. Oh my good golly gee golly oh gosh. Papa's getting tired. Which is good. I need to go to sleep at need to pop a melatonin at 9:30. Be asleep by 10. Wake up at 5. Or 4:35. Hey, stop. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop. Jane says, yes, sir. Let this old lady's gray hair blow in the wind, Justin. Ew. Boggy said, not Boggy, gets God. Carlos says, Papa Renzo says hello. Justin and Kane. Olivia says, oh, okay, I condone this course of action because it isn't racist. Lotus says, I will never live with a HOA. Exactly. I don't care how down bad I am for a house. I'm not living where some people tell me how to live in the house that I bought. Like if I have to drop, stop. I have to drop 100 to 200 grand on it. Stop! On a house, I'm not listening to what you're telling me. That's stupid. Half says, what's your favorite Mexican food, homie? I like 2 beef burritos with cheese dip on top, no red salsa. It's the same thing I get from every single Mexican place. I don't care. It's pretty simple. Just got protein, a little bit of cheese, and I continue on with my day. Riley says, I love dogs. I have a dog. The breed is a pure breed massive. Wow. I need to look that up. Jay says, Justin, how's the job? It's long, man. It's long. Yes. We work 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, this Friday was 6 to 2:30 p.m., but sometimes it can be longer, sometimes it can be shorter. Usually, apparently, it's supposed to be like 6 to 11 on Fridays, but I don't know. Jane says, lol, Lotus, you won't live in a hoe? With a hoe? Exactly. Half says, HOA are run by bored, annoying Karens. Exactly. Yes, they are. It's like they like at the lake. They're on their little golf cart driving around to look for stuff. Ain't that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all they care about. Lotus says it's not. Jane says lol all Lotus. Lotus says I have a garden hoe. That's the limit for hoes. Jane says, what are you doing at new job? I'm running a machine right now. I'm not going to be doing much more for my first week. I did sandblasting the first day, and then what did I do? Oh, I watched another guy set up a machine on a CNC machine. It was a Haas 4. He set it up on, but I watched him do that. It wasn't really anything hard. It wasn't even something where you had to go onto a computer to do it. It was legit such a small code because it would go down, tap, drill one hole, finish the program, and then you unclamped it, flipped it up, and it tapped hole at another one. So he just put in the code on the CNC machine. So it took him like 30 minutes to get it good and everything like that. Half says, what are your Dig's 3 favorite words? Say them out loud to see how he reacts. Dog's 3 favorite words. Say them out loud and see how he reacts. What's his favorite word?
We ain't had him long enough to know his favorite words.
Yeah.
We know he likes boxes.
Yeah, he does. Jane says lol with the exclamation point. Olivia says, I didn't think it's local. They're like way out yonder closer towards town, so that confuses me even more because both Slab Town uptown are back roads, and yet they sending us letters. They always send letters. Half says dogs. Jane says, what does your company do?
Your company.
Make and ship stuff out.
He was making train brakes the other day.
I'll be doing that Monday too. They threw there was one order in for 256, and then I finished that order. After I finished that order, there was the same order, but since it's in a different what is it called? Since it was ordered off a different time length or something like that, we couldn't combine them, so I got another 256 to make. So I'll be making 512. I made 78 Friday, which I think I could have made to 100, but I trained 2 separate people on the machine. But I mean nothing crazy. James says, "What does your company?" Oh, I already read that. Otto says, "Hello USA" with 6 waving emojis.
Hello.
Loader says they have to post their borders. You may be outside and they are trying to bully you. That's true. They do that. Carmen says, "Hey," from Carmen's mom with 4 exclamation points. She's 32 minutes away. She should be. Yeah. Yeah. She's going a lot slower than I thought she was. Half says, ask the bald old fella what his 3. Oh yeah, he wanted to know what your 3 favorite '80s bands were. 34 minutes away.
I don't know, man.
He didn't listen to music much.
I didn't. I don't listen to a bunch of radio. I know a bunch of songs, but I don't know who played them.
Jane says, hi, Carmen. Olivia says, probably, but I'll have my fun. You have your fun until they bill you. So don't be stupid. Jane says, oh, hi, Carmen's mom. There you go. Olivia says, now that I know we have one. Daryl says, Lotus with exclamation point. Jane says, is it a small machine shop? Yeah. I think there's like 2, 4, 5 or 6 CNC machines. I'm running one of them. So, I mean, they do have a laser cutter that just came in. They're building it right now.
Kane, no.
And I'm hoping I run that. I'd like to run a laser cutter. That'd be cool. Half says, did you know that a CNC computer numeral control machine is an automated tool controlled by computer software to precisely cut, shape, and engrave material like metal, wood, and plastic? I would hope to God I knew that. But yes, I do know that. Trenton says, are y'all gangsters? I got my teardrop removed the other week. Bless you. Lotus says, "Barrel soup, bless you." Half says,
Thank you.
"I need to know what his favorite '80s band is, bro." He lit
Lord, I don't hardly remember the 80s. I don't remember.
AC/DC. I know he listened to some AC/DC, didn't he?
Yeah, AC/DC. I mean, I didn't get into a bunch of hard stuff. I liked all kinds of music, even now. I like country. I like mix. I mean, I don't really have a favorite band.
He likes quiet. That's what he likes.
Leave all that
Half
stuff
says,
on.
"Okay, got it." Carmen said, "Hey, Jane." Brother says, "What's your favorite type of beef jerky?" Beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
The normal beef jerky. Trenton says, "You sound like Mafia." I suppose. Lotus says, "Metallica,
Kane,
Slayer,
no.
and Guns N' Roses." He likes all of those
Yeah,
too.
that sounds good. I like. Yeah, that's them.
Ali says, "How are you, my daddy?" I hope to God you're not talking to me.
He talking to me. I'm doing fine. Hope you are.
Libby says, "Watch them stalk us and call the cops when them boys go flying and up down the road." I mean, you learn once not to fly up and down the road now, would you? Ollie says, "How are you, my brother?" "I'm doing fine. How about you?" Jane says, "My boys worked at machine shop. Daryl's dad has machine shop. He does, doesn't he, Daryl?" Lotus says, "Probably." Jane says, "Hi, Ali. How are you? Bless you." Your buddy. Excuse me. Half says, "What year did that old fella graduate high school?" 1988.
88.
Olivia says, "My favorite band." Nobody asked you, Olivia. What are we talking about? Carlos said, "Oh, what the world?" That's funny. The Believin' says, John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whatsoever believed in him should not perish but have everlasting life." Thank you, but we do not talk religion or politics. But thank you though. Jane says, "My favorite bands were '70s, lol." Is that because you're almost 70? Almost there. John Deere says, "Somebody seriously call you daddy?" I don't know. There could be some random person out there. Lotus says, "Carlos, sometimes you disgust me." Does that... Wait. Carlo, can you tap? Can you tap again? Because I don't know if you're like hidden.
Lotus, you know what?
Lotus, you make my pee go doing doing.
Oh, Lord.
Olivia
I
says
think his
Slipknot is
meds
the
are
best.
kicking in.
Slipknot is not the 80s, by the way. Daryl says, "Same, Jane, 80s lost it for me." Half says, "That bald guy sounds country as cornbread. Does his accent come from the south of the Mason-Dixon line?"
Wow. Hell yeah.
You darn right, brother. Olivia says, I'm skipping that. Olivia says, Jane says, "Where is Dixie line?" Above us. Lotus says, "Both of those." Big C says, "Sage says hello from Pittsburgh." Hello.
Hello.
Michelle, that's 2 L's and an E. Hello from California again. Hello. Jane says, "Hey, I am almost 70. Crap, I feel old." Maybe. Jane says, "I removed it." Okay, he's
Oh, okay.
yeah, I know. Half says, "I was in high school at the same time as the bald guy. I guess that makes me old too." Hurt. You get AARP letters, don't you? Lotus says, "From fetching." Oh, I almost deleted Lotus. Carlos says, "Sorry, Lotus. Just kidding, bro. Harmless fun." Jane says, "Hi, Michelle." Michelle says, "Gotta go get a beer." Absolutely correct. Are you sure you're not Michael? Lotus says, "I'm not wearing socks. I need an adult." Olivia says, "Carl, if you ain't Dave, you got socks on." Michelle says, "Jane, howdy." Jane says, "Man, I'd mix you guys up big time. Middle name is Michelle." Hey, that's 1 L. You're a Michael. Half says, "You're the real one, homie. It's better to have a few What is that? What's that word? Detractors.
Detractors.
Who dislike you for who you are, then to receive universal praise for appearing to be something that you generally aren't.
There you go. Okay, cool. Next.
I'm not talking bad about you. I hope that makes sense. Because he's old too. Brother says, how do y'all eat your steak? Medium rare and medium. Michelle says, dang dude. Michael is French, I'm Irish. See, you're just spelling it differently for me here, but I mean, it's this one, that one, and this one, and that one. And it's the same word. ABCD says, read mine. He put the little tallywhacker on there. Jane says, lol, 1L. Exactly. John Deere says, you got socks on? Sure ain't your diaper. Joking, don't get mad. Carlos says, haha, lol, Olivia. Half says, my exercise routine includes running away from my problems, running late, and running my mouth nonstop. Sounds like Randy.
No wonder she's not overweight.
I don't think that's a she. Carmen says road rage
Oh, I
is
thought
about to
you said it was
show
Olivia
she's
that
behind
said that.
someone going
I'm sorry.
45 and a 55. Makes sense. Olivia says Carlo. Half says if y'all are evading the cops in a high-speed car chase, what song would you want blaring from the radio?
I can't drive 55.
Michelle
Or a
says,
highway to hell.
Michelle, I'd have what's it called? Please, please, please from Sabrina Carpenter. I tell you what, here, there, and gone. Michelle says, lol, yep, it's all cool. Half says, would you rather live in a world that has important questions that can't yet be answered than live in the world with illogical answers that can't be questioned? The first one. Because if you have illogical answers that can't be questioned, that's just a dictatorship. Olivia says, Lotus, where you go? Question mark. GTF. GT fanboy says, I just crap the F out of myself, I guess.
Whoever Gray is, please quit spamming.
Oh, that's 5 minutes. Whoa, that changed. It changed from seconds to minutes. My bad. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Jane says, highway to the danger zone.
Yeah.
That's true. Brother says, told my wife she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised. Mel says, what the fubar is this nafu? I don't know. Michelle says, change the answer. No. Libby says, all doom. Half says, I've never slept with a 10, but one night I slept with a 5-2, with five twos.
Oh, shit.
GT fanboy says it's true. It stinks. Michelle says, all doom. Hi, Olivia. Slowing down. I need to start making fun of women again.
No.
Hey, I tell you what, I got some likes up in here. When I started talking about women. They text about saying, gotcha doing time cards, thanks. I don't know you. I guess it's Greg. See, it's not Joe.
Ask?
Well, when I started working. I should have said Monday. Tragedy. Which, if it was Greg, I had a meeting with him, so you would think, don't matter to me. Or it might be the HR guy. I don't know. HR guy came and grabbed me. I got scared. I was like, what did I do already? He just needed to take my pictures for my little card. Olivia says, what does that mean? I don't know.
We done forgot what we said.
Waited too long to ask. Michelle says, I'm still here. GT fanboy says, I crapped again. Proud. Jane says, low, oh my god, 5 twos. Yep. That's crazy. Michelle says, what you got to say to me? I don't know. Get away from me, woman! Pepper spray! Mister says, can you give your dog a treat? There's a treat behind you.
Sure, I'll give him a treat. He's asleep. Hey, I'm mad at him.
What is that? He goes, well, for war.
Sit. 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 Sit.
There we go. He used to be better at that. I think we stopped making him sit.
They only ask you to give you one. They go back to sleep.
Brother says, why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts. Come here, buddy. No, I don't. You come at me. No, you come at me.
Go on over there and lay down.
Half says, can I please get a shout out to my Detroit homies, Pookie and Ray Ray? Shout out to those guys.
Go lay down.
Olivia says, Jane, what they mean by that? I don't know. Michelle says, this boy wants to talk about women. Cool, I'm waiting. Are we serious?
Oh, he just wanted to see if you'll get down him and get everybody mad.
Are we serious?
We ain't doing that, though.
I say one sentence. They're mad. Jane says, Detroit, Ohio here. I know I've told you that before. Lotus says, sorry, I'm back. Michelle says, LMFAO. LaFow. No. I skipped. Half says, do both of y'all get along with your family? Yeah. Jane says, explain 5 twos to Olivia. From a scale of 1 to 10, they're 2. And there's 5 of them. And 5 times 2 equals 10. You know? Half says family is meant to be a shelter from the storm, but sometimes it can be storm itself. GT fanboy says, guy in the back looks like Walter White from Mr. Clean Sperm. Mr. Healthy says, let's go. Michelle says, I've got 2 dogs and understand. Jane says, I get along with a few family members. Brother says, what do you call a fake noodle and impasta?
What's that?
Impasta? Yeah, impasta. This smart little guy here. Pauline says, what do you call a fly with no wings?
A wall.
Facts. Michelle says, still laying your funny. You're welcome, I suppose. Half says, would you agree that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give? Yeah, I suppose. Riley says, what is your song? My song? Please, please, please. Michelle says, still laughing. Better take time to breathe now. Make America says they. Olivia says, oh, yeah. I suppose. Lotus says, Lowell Justin barks like a chihuahua. What can I say? Olivia says, bark, 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 bark. Half says, do you agree that wealth can be never truly be found in the exact of one's possessions, but rather in the fewness of one's wants? Yeah, I get it. This guy's bringing wisdom to the table today. Jane says, half hawk, you need to put the content on your channel or come in every night. Daryl says, I was wrong 19 minutes tonight. 19 minutes? What did you say earlier? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's too far up. Yeah. Olivia says only 19 minutes. That's kind of short. Brother
Straight
says
to the subject.
Exactly. Brother says, why don't cows have any money? Because the farmer keeps milking them dry. Jane says, Justin, why? Please, please, please. Or do I ask Carmen? Carmen didn't get me into Sabrina Carpenter. I just messed with Sabrina Carpenter. It's either that or tit for tat for Tate McRae. See, I might be a little man, but white girl music is comp. Yeah, if you ever seen people my age when white people music, no, good God Almighty, white girl music go on, do you ever see them not like it? There's a reason for it. Carlos says, Lucky Hawk. Olivia says he rolled a higher wisdom check to you. I'm reading it and I'm understanding it. So I wrote a 15, he rolled a 15. Daryl says it's the weekly briefing. Gotcha. Kirsten says I'm currently taking a crap right now. Olivia says hey with all exclamation points. Lotus says the kids nowadays are weird. Incorrect. White girl music is on top. Riley says what is the dog that you wish you had? A Great Dane. There's one over there.
The big dog.
Olivia says agreed. Lotus brother says why did the cowboy adopt a wiener dog? Because someone told him to get a long little doggy. Oh, wait, to get a long little doggy. You get that joke?
Long little dog, you know.
He rolled a higher wisdom check than us. Lotus says, oh, I know Jane. Jane says, oh, see, I should have asked Carmen. Carmen don't know. Lotus says 42. Daryl says order the radiator, the trans cooler, and throttle cable.
Cool.
Heck yeah. Cray says what is white girl music? Who doesn't know what white girl music is?
I don't.
Katy Perry, Sabrina Carpenter, Tate McRae, Olivia Rodrigo. There's more. Britney Spears.
Who the hell listens to them?
This guy. GT fanboy says the crap in my pants is starting to darken. Crack my butt. Dry and crack my butt. Better white. Half says I've learned the hard way that both ego and fertility impede sound leadership, so have neither vanity or immoral, irrational self-doubt. Facts. Carlos says appreciate you, Lotus. Tyson says do y'all hunt? No, we do not. We have the land to, we have the guns to, just not everything else. We have the land and the guns to do so, but we just don't. Michelle says you made me smile. Take care, y'all. See you later.
See ya.
Lotus
Thank you
says,
for coming in.
Lotus says send me your nitro. Jane says hi, Cray. Careful with that nitro. That little turbo will explode. Memory says hi, everyone. Hello, Memory.
Hello, Memory.
Kirsten says the best music ever. Exactly. Carlos says, yup, appreciate you, bro. Half says, choose to die on your feet rather than live on your knees because cowards actually die many times on the inside before their final deaths.
Amen.
Kirsten says, Tate McRae is a baddie. Remember, have you seen her, like, she's walking through like a model on the wall, model walkthroughs? I think she could be a model too, if she really wanted to. But she probably wouldn't put out as much songs if she was busy modeling. But remember, she says Taylor Swift crappy music. I never said Taylor Swift is not good in my opinion, except like maybe one song. Olivia says Taylor Swift sucks. Lotus says if it sucks, it's white girl music. Incorrect. See, that's why you're 45, Lotus. Carmen says Justin does. Exactly. Brother says, why did the redneck bring a pencil to the wedding? Because he heard they were going to kind of draw straws, and he didn't want to marry his cousin again.
So he was going to draw a longer one.
Jane says, take care, Michelle. Cray says, is Taylor Swift in there as well? One song, maybe. Rugburn says, hey. Olivia says, Demi Lovato, exactly, that's true. It's been forever since I heard her. Olivia says there's more. Carlos says I'll send you my Mix 5 kit to build it and feature on your channel. I'll pay, the shipping both ways. Very nice, Carlo. That's actually comp. Jonathan says, will you be my boyfriend? And yes or no? No. Will you be his boyfriend?
Hell no.
No. Date 7 said hi. Kyle says thoughts on letting Bad Money stay naked on your couch. I don't want any man naked on my couch. Jennifer says, why do you look like Steve from Minecraft movie?
Because Minecraft movie Steve looks like me.
Facts. Lotus says, wait, both ways I gotta give it back? Maybe. Olivia says, agree to disagree. Slipknot is the best music ever. No. Why would I click on music just to hear people scream in my ear? Jonathan says, how many days till spring is?
I don't know.
Sometime or another. Kirsten says, yo, have a great suspension on my truck for the big girls I pick up. Remember, if she ain't 280, she ain't a lady. No. Who just says, you guys into RC racing cars? Not yet. We might think about it. Oh, crap. I'm getting way behind. Jane says Taylor Swift. Ew, exactly. Lotus says 44. Carlos says, yep, of course, at Lotus. Lotus says, dang, now I know how Rando feels. Olivia says Billie Eilish. Sometimes. Jane says, hit the like, y'all. Lotus says corn. That's the only good music he's made. Sebastian said YouTube emblem. Lotus says system of a down. Lotus says of. Olivia says Metallica. Lotus says Marilyn Manson. Olivia says Megadeth. I don't. That sounds weird. Riley says, Riley says, who is your favorite song artist? Sabrina Carpenter. J87 says, men naked on the couch does not sound inviting at all. Exactly. J87 says, hi, Jane. Olivia says, lip buzz kit. What piss are we talking about? Jane says, good grief. They said, good music. Exactly. Olivia says, Whitechapel. Lotus says, we are into RC cars. Lotus is, in fact, we aren't yet. We would like to be. Just not yet. Jane says, hi, J87. Ronan says, hello. Lotus says, Rob Zombie. Comp. Okay, Rob Zombie is good. Libby says, no, Slipknot is soft compared to Whitechapel. Slipknot, he looks stupid, in my opinion. I haven't seen him in a while, but he does look stupid, in my opinion. Olivia says, Rob Zombie. Tierson says, Ford or Chevy. Chevy all the way. Half says, young men don't seek comfort, seek strength, embrace hardship, and risk to grow beyond mediocrity. I can't say that word. I know what you're trying to say, though. I'm sorry. And achieve a meaningful, extraordinary life. Exactly. Thank you. Olivia says, five-finger death punch. No. J7 says, Olivia, good song. Lotus says, a day to remember. Jane says, half hawk, I love the wisdom. Bless you. And T, I think that's what saying. Are you getting hungry? I'm very hungry. J7 said, shine down symptom of being a human, such a good song. Olivia says, thanks, J87. Lotus says, my channel, Chemical Romance. Memory says, I'm Rush fan. I don't think I've heard him. If that's an artist. Olivia says, you look stupid. Have you seen what Slipknot looks like? Let's be so for real. Jace says, hi, I'm here. Hello, Jace. Kirsten says, I love Chevy. I like you. J7 says, no problem. You still playing Bloodstripe? If you're talking to me, no. I haven't played it since, I think if I'm thinking it correctly, the last time I played with Olivia on it. I don't like looking down on my phone. It gives me a headache. Brother says, why don't cows ever get invited to parties? Because they always bring their mood swings. Olivia says, I have heard My Chemical Romance. I haven't heard My Chemical Romance in a minute. Jane says, okay, getting a little better music. A little bit. Carmen says, Carmen was raised on Tesla. You. AC/DC, bless you. White Snake, Guns N' Roses, and 70s country. White girl music clashes. You're welcome. Oh no, she's turned to gay music now. Bless you.
Where's the bullshit you talking about all that white girl music?
White girl music's comp. At least I don't listen to what's his name, Youngblood, having his pubes. Like, you see how he dresses?
No,
He wears
I don't know who you're
right
talking
here, right here, where he's like, oh my god, pubes everywhere. You're a weirdo. You're crazy. Half of your audience is 13-year-old girls, by the way. I'll let you know that. Guys, look, you can almost see my balls.
Wet.
Like, are you serious? And it says, I have beef bologna. Comp. Brother says, why did the cowboy break up with the tractor? Because it just couldn't handle his stick. Olivia says, disturbed. Jane says, hi, Jace. Olivia says, I am being so for real. Like, for real? Lotus says, you have heard you have heard Rush on the radio if you listen to classic rock. I don't. Daryl says I haven't one good band so far. Olivia says I still play Blood Strike. Joseph says what is you trying to say, bro? Shake my head. I'm speaking clearly. ZXQ says America baby. Half says new life always arises from existing life, never from and then it matter. I can't say that word either. This is proof of supernatural creator, God as the uncanny cause and the prime mover. Jane says, bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kirsten says 90s and 80s country music is the best. They are. That is, today's country is a little bit different. Some's good, some's of it.
Switch that with me.
Little different.
I'm gonna be here in a minute. If you got time, if you're gonna time it out about right. Let's see what we got here.
Hey, buddy.
Let's see. I think you got Riley, didn't you? Low key. I love Sabrina Carpenter too. Brothers. Said Layden says, what about Morgan Wallen? Carmen says, you just stabbed at my mama.
Yeah, they like Youngblood.
Oh.
They're so weird.
Daryl says 60 to 80s country. Carlos says Pink Pony Club. Lord.
Pink Pony Club.
Olivia said, leave my man's Joey alone. Olivia said, Lotus said, Avril,
I can't say that word either.
Carlos, I don't know. Carlos says, Mario, let me love you. Olivia said, Jane said, Lotus, you like Advil?
I can't. How do you... I tooted.
Half Hog says,
oh, there she
I was gonna
is.
say,
Oh, come
Half
on.
Hog says, gotta dip, bros, leave the world better than you found it. Let life feels lighter when you choose to spread joy. That's right. Thank you for stopping in. See you.
Glad to have you
I
back.
love you. Olivia says, this is more modern than Platinum Moon. Box fan said, sup, gang, wanna bang bang? Hello. How did I sign off? I didn't mean to. There we go. What we got here? 16 people, 36 thumbs up. Lotus said some stuff. Jane said take care, Half Hawk. Tyson's Tyler. Do you like 80s country as well? I like all kinds of music. Lotus says when she was a skater. Jane said 70s rock. Mitzi says God bless you. You too. ZXQ said Pink Floyd. Jane said yes, Pink Floyd. Olivia said Dead Man's Theory. Lotus said Pink Floyd is great. Riley said what is both of you guys' favorite wild animal? Mine is a fox. I'd probably say deer. Jane said Neil Young, ? Olivia said and Panthers and Gobson, I don't know what it is. Jane said Pink Floyd across many generations. Carlos said Sweet Caroline. ZXQ said Pink. Jane said Neil Diamond, sorry. Chris said, why did he skip my comment? I don't see it, Chris. Daryl says tap ×2. Thank you. Carlos said yes. Neil Diamond. Lotus said Godzilla is my favorite wild animal. Chris said because I'm 100% sure his favorite food is pizza and grape soda. Jane said Chris, I don't see another comment. Lotus said Bigfoot, a close second. Hey. ZHQ said the Eagles.
Morning.
You can't just do that. You gotta make sure that dog.
Oh, she gets bites. She be fine.
I'll be damned.
She be alright.
He about got me today, so me and him's not be getting along right now.
Take your seat.
Well, we all just took a, there it is. Tyson said, y'all like cars? Yes, we do. We like to do our burnout cars. We like old vehicles. Mold Grove says, drink Milwaukee best ice. I don't know about that. Mary says, I like 60s British invasion music.
Keep forward.
Let's see, Tyson said, why do you say that name?
Tierson, I think.
Because it seems like I'm saying it
It's
wrong.
like Tyr, so I say Tierson.
Cheers. All right, thoughts on North Dakota? I don't know. I got a son in South Dakota. Never been there.
Did that budget you?
Tarzan said it is cold as F up there. Stephen ought to like it then, which he is in South Dakota, but still, I think it's still cold. I don't know. Carlos said, Cat Stevenson, JBBL 69 said this U.S. is Balklausen, whatever that dang word is. Lotus said, how cold is it? Mold Grover says, yours ever heard of Richard Ramsey, the Night Stalker? I haven't. Tyson said 42. Lotus said 28 degrees here.
This guy.
Raleigh says, can you ask your son what his favorite wild animal is?
Penguin.
Huh?
Penguin.
Penguin. Tyson said, negative 12 here. JVBL 69 said, blank sensation, the U.S. is fragmented based on clashing. Okay, whatever you want to say. I don't remember, my eyes water. Let's see. Olivia says, good night all. Don't feel good. I hope you get feeling better. Good night, Olivia. Lotus said, good night, Olivia. Tyler said, cheers from Michigan. Have a great night, y'all. See you, Tyler. Thank you. John Deere said, hit the like button, guys. Lotus said, almost time for good night all. Yes, getting real close. Got about 5 more minutes.
Somebody waited till the last second. I'll be down there.
Connor says, good night from Tennessee. Thank you. Good night. 19 people, 39 thumbs up. Jane said, take care, Olivia. I'm going to say good night, a night all. Oh, man.
This is important. I think you got me with the spit earlier. You were sleeping, and so you slobbered in your sleep. You woke
Let's
up.
see. Connor says good night from Ohio. Hold up on you.
Ooh-wee.
Tyler said, you guys ever see tornadoes? I've seen one. We were at the beach one time, but we don't see very many. Connor said, good night from Turkmensch. Yeah, I don't know where that's from, but okay.
This is what I'm saying. It's not that. I don't know.
Turkmen. Sit down. Darren said, hello, Carolina. Checking in from West by God, Virginia. Hit that like button for me, please. We're about to sign off here.
What likes are we at now?
Still showing 39.
Carmen hasn't even liked it.
I've been driving.
But you have.
Jane said, Lord, welcome, West by God.
What's up? What's up?
Get him.
Ow!
You beating me, Jaden. Get him. Ow, 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 ow. Make it hit 40.
It hasn't moved. It might in a minute. And it might be freezing up. I don't know. Oh no. Let's see. Daryl said hit the like button, get him past 40. There it is, 40. One more make me settle in at 40. Let's see. John Deere said bye. Good night, everyone. I must have been a minute late, going a minute or two late coming on. We're showing 8 o'clock. I got about showing 3 more minutes. But it'll be all right. There's 41. That means I'll end out with 40, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, everybody, y'all have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this, and thank y'all for coming in. Let's see. Meta said, where's the funny man that always scares me? I don't see him from a last year. He finally getting an asylum for saying yes. We'll get him out eventually. Hazel said, puppy, he's behind me somewhere. Let's see, where's the puppy? He's right there. But anyway, y'all have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. And remember, everybody, keep it silly. And thank y'all. Good night.